Since you asked, well, since Slipspace Gaming asked, what genres of game do I think are most criminally neglected today? That was asked during the live Q&A, sir, and I had to take it away and think about it. What's actually underrepresented? What games do I love, or what genres do I love that I can't really play anymore in the way that I want to? There's loads that would apply to, but the more I think about it, the more I realize they're not necessarily neglected, they're just not necessarily on all of the platforms that I'd want to play them on. So you can look at things like Japanese RPGs and say, there's not enough of them on Xbox, they're being neglected. But there are Japanese RPGs on other platforms. You can look at real-time strategy games and grand strategy games and say, I want more of those. But there are loads of those on the PC. The stuff that I think is actually not available, or at least not in the way that I want it, and probably never will be again, is I have to think back to the amount of hours that I put into Quake 3 Arena. So the arena shooter. And Quake 3 Arena wasn't the only one. You used to have obviously fierce competition from Unreal Tournament, but there were plenty of other proper arena shooters as well. Obviously there's loads of first-person shooters today, there's loads of competitive games today, but they don't really capture what an arena shooter was back in those days, where everything was fair, everything was even. You didn't have heroes with powers. You had an arena, you had teams or individuals, and you had to learn and dominate that arena and kill your opponent more times than they could kill you. Very, very simple, very, very fun. And it's been entirely replaced by hero shooters. So even Quake Champions, your characters are now heroes with abilities, so it's never going to be that visceral fair fight that it used to be. Or battle royales, which I'm not a big fan of because I'm just not. I like winning and I don't win battle royales. And anybody that claims they constantly win battle royales is statistically a liar. Don't believe them. Not true, some people are good at them, I get it, but I don't like battle royales. So the arena shooter is underrepresented, but it will not and cannot come back, and one of the reasons for that is matchmaking. So things were very, very different with Quake 3 Arena because matchmaking and rankings hadn't really been a thing that existed. Progression didn't really exist in that game. It was raw. You just went in, you found a server with some people and you played there, and whoever was best came out on top. And if you liked those people, you'd stick around and you play on that handful of servers again and again and again. You get your own little community, you'd meet some people, you'd know them, you'd start recognizing who was good, who was bad, who you could absolutely destroy, who was scarily good with a lightning gun, and all of these kind of things. But you definitely didn't have any kind of system behind the scenes trying to make sure that the fights were fair and competitive. There's pros and cons to matchmaking. You can definitely argue in favor of the fact that it gives every game a more fair competitive edge, but at the same time there's something very artificial about that. There's something, I don't know, much more real about just having to beat whoever's in front of you rather than having to beat somebody that's been selected because they're about as good as you are. That's something that will never come back because kids don't like it. Even grown-ups probably don't like it, but for me, I'd like games to go back to that. The other one, so answer part 2, I can do that. This is a bit of a long since you asked, but I can do that. Part 2 is a game genre that's not neglected, I would say it's mistreated, and that's MMORPGs. They used to be a very different beast, a much better, more enjoyable beast. So in today's MMORPGs, you log on, you get a big prompt telling you about your daily login reward and encouraging you to log on again tomorrow to keep your streak going. You go in and you get prompted to buy like consumables to make your leveling up faster if you want to, and you look around the starting area and you see 6 people running around in exactly the same legendary looking, glowing, super cool armor, and you look into it and it turns out that all of them acquired that armor. They earned and achieved that armor by redeeming it from Amazon Prime, and then you go off through your curated compulsion loop tasks. Got to complete, you get bonus points for your first dungeon of the day, bonus points for your first PvP of the day, all of these things that are just like sinister hooks to keep you engaged so that you'll keep spending on their microtransactions. And that even applies to games that have a subscription to keep them going, which is ridiculous. So I'd very much like to see proper, fair, let you have fun, don't be quite so engineered and sinister MMORPG. That's a misrepresented, neglected genre that again may never come back. Yeah, may never come back. But you asked.